What's up? Inflatable enthusiast here, and it's good to be back. I've missed you guys. This is I think my first video in like 5 months. So yeah, sorry about that vacation, I guess you could say. I made a post about it in December or January, I forget. But I don't want to sit here and talk about that for, I could stand here for 20 minutes and talk about that. So I just want to let you guys know I'm back now. There will hopefully be like a regularly scheduled upload schedule. Expect a review every week, every couple of weeks from now on, as they were for the past, almost 2 years up until recently. But yeah, so I've started selling a few of my inflatables that, aren't necessarily really important to me. Hence why I'm able to get this, and I'll show you what this is in a second. You can probably already tell. But I wanted to find an inflatable that was, like, super cool, classic, pretty highly sought-after inflatable to get me back into reviews. And what better way to do it with the 2012 15-foot-tall air-blown inflatable Halloween hot air balloon. This thing is amazing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the only other video of this, even on YouTube, is from Chase the Inflatable God. This is a really rare inflatable, and it's just awesome. That's basically it. It's a 15 feet, obviously, so it's massive. It's already 10 years old, 11 years old actually, because this was released in 2012. I believe this was sold at BJ's and also Yard Inflatables. This is the green, classic early 2000s, Gemmy box. A lot of Gemmy inflatables use this box. The only other inflatable I have that uses this box art is the Scary Pumpkin. But as you can see here, it's green. It has that haunted mansion. You can see the moon. There's an owl. There's bats, trees. It's awesome. A lot of 2010 Gemmy inflatables use this box art, and I think it's awesome. So I believe this is the BJ's version. If you ordered it on Yard Inflatables back then, I believe you would get a plain white box with the picture of the inflatable on it, which is what Chase had in his video. So I ended up paying a lot for this. I paid about like $300 for this on Mercari. But like I said, I've been selling a bunch of my inflatables, so essentially I just traded a few of my inflatables in to get this, and I was perfectly fine with that because the ones that I'm selling, like I said, don't necessarily mean a lot to me, and I want to try to do more classic displays. Like, I don't want to buy a whole bunch of newer inflatables anymore, especially cheap fan ones, because they end up looking cheap and crappy, and they always stick out like a sore thumb in my displays, I feel like. So I'm not going to do entirely classic displays. I don't think I can commit to that because there's a lot of good designs that I still want to use that are newer inflatables. But expect this year's Christmas and Halloween display to be a majority of the inflatables are going to be classic ones. The only exceptions for this year for Halloween might be I might get the Haunted Mansion organ, unless I can find an original organ in the next 3 or 4 months until the Halloween season kicks around, but I think that's going to be unlikely. But yeah, so I got this. I mean, I can't wait to crack this open. It looked like it was in great condition. The only thing the seller said in the listing was that there was like a small rip that had been sewn up on the pumpkin. It didn't look thin in any of the pictures. The box is absolutely massive. And that brings me to my one and really only complaint until we open this up and see if there's anything else wrong with it. The seller shipped this just in this box. He didn't wrap the box. I mean, I don't blame him. You can't find a box to fit this in, but he didn't wrap it. He just shipped it in this box. But it looks good. Like, it's not super damaged. Obviously, it has, damage on the corners and stuff like that, but I don't usually like it when the sellers do that. But it's not that big of a deal, especially in this case when this box is massive and he probably was not able to wrap it, or definitely was not able to fit it in another box. Still got an address sticker right here on it. Just want to get rid of that. There we go. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go right into it and cut it open. I'm not gonna cut the video or anything. So you guys are seeing my first reactions as well. Yeah, and like I said, again, apologies for, not posting in 5 or 6 months. I had a lot going on, and I had little to no time for videos. But like I said, for now at least, I'm back, and I'll hopefully be, back on like a regularly scheduled upload schedule. So yeah. Okay, there's actually quite a lot of tape on this. Alrighty, so I got the box cracked open. I'm also aware that this is going to require a lot of setting up, and I'm okay with that. I also know that there is no real instructions on how to set it up, but from what I've seen and heard, it's pretty self-explanatory. Fabric feels and looks awesome. The seller actually did not live far from me. This was coming from literally like less than an hour drive from where I live. So this came in like 2 days. And where I live, like I said, it's not a very hot. I live in New England, so it's not a very hot part of the country. Typically in the summers, we have 70s, 80-degree weather. 90s is like really hot for here. But it does happen occasionally. And then obviously we have very cold falls and winters and stuff. So I was not expecting this thing to be thin. And like I said, there were pictures and it didn't look like it was. So here's the poles that they give you for the basket of the hot air balloon. It is plastic, I believe, but it's pretty strong plastic. It's not like PVC, but it is definitely pretty durable. There was a bird over there. Yeah, from what I've heard, these do keep the inflatable up very good, and it doesn't move around a whole lot. But then again, not a lot of people own this inflatable, so that could also just be complete bullshit news that someone made up. So there are different lengths of these. There's the longer ones, and then there's the smaller ones. I believe the smaller ones go around like the characters in the basket. I believe the longer ones go up to the actual balloon, like the pumpkin itself. So I'm going to get this all taken out. I'm going to spread it out on the yard, and actually I'm just going to set it up. So the next time I cut back, I'll have it all set up, hopefully, and I'll basically do like a quick rundown on how I actually got it set up. So I'll be right back. All right, so I think I got it set up correctly, and I think it's pretty much done. Before we start, I just want to show you the fan. See if you got that. I believe it's like similar to a YEF 125 or a 200. I don't believe it has any label on it. Actually, yeah, I can just do this. Yeah. I can't tell. This was before the days they started using YEF this and that, so but it's definitely similar in power to that. It's pretty powerful. So yeah, without further ado, I'll do a video of the inflation, so let's get right to that. Alrighty, so here it goes. It's now inflating. I believe I have all the zippers up. I zipped this up on the back here. Where was it? Yeah, that's up. There was a zipper on the bottom of this as well. That was already closed. Yep. So, it might take a while though. Actually, no, judging by this already, shouldn't take much more than like 3 or 4 minutes, I'd say. It's going up really fast, actually. The characters inflate after the pumpkin, I believe. Yeah, as you can see, the pumpkin is very faded, but it only appears to be on the back, so I don't mind. And obviously that's going to happen, these things are out in the sun, so. Yeah, like I said, I believe I have this set up correctly, so should have no problems. I also hope I don't have to stake it down. If it starts to fall, I will fix it. But it's not windy out at all right now. See if the pumpkin will go up on its own. Doesn't look like it. Gotta fix the characters in here. Okay. Alrighty, they're just about done. Oh, actually, I might have set this up wrong. Hold on. Okay, so I just had to go around and fix that. I actually did have this set up the wrong way. I had these poles on the outside of where the characters are, and I forgot why they had these holes right here. Was so these could go through, so they didn't press on the inflatable, and they didn't show. So that was an easy fix. All right, now let's see how well this thing will get up on its own. Hoping it'll do pretty good. So yep, the character's got to inflate. Gonna help these a little bit because kind of tangled up in there. All right, so I got it all set up, but I gotta make this fast because this is like my third time filming this video. So basically, here it is. So the first thing I have to go over is when I first inflated it, the pumpkin would not. It would stay up on its own, but the characters inflated like shit. And the pumpkin still kind of like rocked back and forth a lot, and it wouldn't really stay completely straight up. But I was kind of expecting that because of how big it is and because of how little support is below it. I do think it is slightly wearing out though, because in Chase's video, his stayed up completely fine without any tethers, and it would rock a little bit in the wind, but it would never fall over. This one, the pumpkin would completely tip over to the side and would not inflate back up on its own unless I pushed it. But, you know, I have it staked down now, so it's perfectly fine when it's staked down, but on its own, the pumpkin will not stay up. But that's not that big of a deal because there have only been a few of these, like, realistic hot air balloon inflatables ever made, and it's very rare that they actually work perfect and the balloon stays up, like, on its own. But the characters inflated like garbage, which I knew already because Chase said that in his video. And the main reason why they don't inflate good is because this pipe right here that gives them air from the fan from the balloon was actually stuck and pinched under this bar. So what I did was I unscrewed it from here and put it on the inside. So now the pipe is perfectly delivering air to the characters. So they inflate much better now. They inflate nice and tight like they should. But the only problem is, even though the characters are getting more air now, the pumpkin is getting less. So after I did that, the pumpkin wouldn't really stay up on its own and it wouldn't inflate straight up like it is right now. I have it staked down though, obviously, so that's why it's staying up. But yeah, I think just because of mine, because it's older, I don't think it's thinning. It definitely has signs of wear. So it's not going to work perfectly as if it was like new in box. This was obviously used before. The seller said it was only used once, but a lot of their other items they had up there were completely thin. So obviously where they lived, they were stored in a hot environment. So this thing definitely started to wear out a little bit, but it's definitely usable and it's still in great shape for being 11 years old. And I wasn't about to return this and get my money back, especially because of how rare it is. Yes, I did spend a lot of money, and it's kind of disappointing that I spent that much and it's not in perfect condition, but it's definitely still usable, and in this condition, I could easily get a few seasons out of it because it doesn't get hot enough here for this thing to thin out even more. And like I said, if it's staked down like it is right now, it works perfectly. If it's not staked down, though, the pumpkin just will sag to the side and it won't inflate. But that's to be expected because of just that tiny little area right there holding it up, and it's this giant, like 8-foot tall thing on top of it. It's not going to be perfect, you know, it's not going to stand up perfectly straight. Obviously, though, like Chase's stands perfectly up straight, but he got his mint in package, like never used before, so there's no possible way that it could have been thin, really, unless it was stored like in a really hot place. But yeah, this one was used, it's older, it has been stored in probably a hot place, so it started to wear out, but it's still usable, and I'm still going to use it because it's such a classic piece. and it just gives off those early 2000s Gemmy vibes, and I love that. So yeah, but now the characters, like I said, the characters inflate amazing. This inflates really good now. The pumpkin still inflates really good. This part doesn't, but the pumpkin almost wants to explode. But yeah, so the pumpkin still inflates really good, but it's just that spot right there that doesn't inflate super good, hence why it doesn't stay up unless it's staked down. But you have, like, that's not a problem, you know. You're gonna stake down your inflatables when you put them out anyways. So the fact that it doesn't stay up when it's this tiny little thing holding this up, and when you put it out in the display, you have to stake it down anyways. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Like I said, I paid a lot, and it's not in perfect shape, but it's definitely usable, and it's such a classic and rare design that I really did not want to pass up on it. If another one shows up for sale though, like new in box, like completely mint, I will get that one instead, because like I said, this is fading. It doesn't stay up on its own perfect, but when you have it staked down, it's fine. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal. So anyways, that's it though. I'm not going to do a night view of it because the pumpkin lights up good, but the characters have no lights in them, so it would just be a spotlight on them, and you know what that's going to look like, so there's really no point. Yeah, so again, I'm glad to be back on YouTube. Expect more videos soon. I haven't really decided what else I'm getting, but I'm definitely going to be getting a good amount of newer inflatables within the next couple months. And by newer, I mean just like new. I'm not going to buy like new for 2023 designs. Like I said, most of my displays this year are each going to be mainly classic inflatables, my Christmas and Halloween display. So, yeah, but anyways, that's about it. So thanks for watching. I'm the Inflatable Enthusiast, and I'll see you guys next time.